Have you ever woken up in the morning, looked around your quiet house, and felt a little lost? Maybe you've thought, if only the kids lived closer, or if my spouse were still here, we'd be planning our day. It's a feeling many of us know all too well. For so much of our lives, our happiness seems to be tied to other people, our partners, our children, our friends, our colleagues. Their presence fills our days, their laughter fuels our joy, and their company gives us a sense of purpose. But then, life changes. The pace slows down. The house gets a little quieter. And you might find yourself at a crossroads, wondering, where do I find that spark now? If you've ever felt that pang of loneliness or that sense of waiting for someone else to bring you happiness, you are not alone. And I want to let you in on a little secret. The most profound, resilient, and beautiful happiness isn't something that's given to you by others. It's something you cultivate within yourself. Welcome. In this video, we're going to explore something incredibly liberating. We're going to talk about 6 powerful ways to build happiness after 70 that don't rely on anyone else. This isn't about pushing people away or becoming a hermit. It's about building a foundation of joy so strong within yourself that the presence of others becomes the icing on the cake, not the cake itself. It's about rediscovering the person you've been your whole life and realizing that your best, most joyful chapter might just be beginning. Let's start with the first way, and it's one that might surprise you. 1. Reclaim your morning as your own sacred time. Think back to your working years, or even the years you were raising a family. Mornings were a rush, weren't they? A checklist. Get up, get ready, get everyone else ready, pack lunches, and out the door. Your morning belonged to everyone but you. Now, for the first time in decades, it doesn't have to be that way. When you wake up, the day is a blank canvas. And the first stroke of paint you put on that canvas sets the tone for the entire masterpiece. Instead of waking up and immediately thinking about what you don't have or who isn't there, try this: claim the first hour of your day for yourself. This is non-negotiable time dedicated to filling your own cup. For me, this looks like making a quiet cup of tea and sitting by the window to watch the sunrise. The colors, the quiet, the gradual lightening of the sky, it's a reminder that every day is a new beginning. For you, it might be something else. Maybe it's sitting in your favorite armchair with a book of poetry for 15 minutes before the world wakes up. Maybe it's doing some gentle stretching in the living room, feeling your muscles thank you for the movement. Maybe it's writing down 3 things you're grateful for in a little notebook: the sound of the birds, the warmth of your blanket, the fact that you have another day to live. This isn't about filling time. It's about starting your day from a place of intention and peace, not from a place of lack. It's a quiet declaration to yourself: my well-being matters. When you anchor yourself in that calm first thing in the morning, the rest of the day flows differently. You're not chasing happiness, you're starting from a place of it. And the beautiful thing is, this ritual is entirely yours. It doesn't require another person to be present or in a good mood. It's a date with yourself that you can keep every single day, and it will never let you down. 2. Become a student of the world again. Remember the curiosity you had as a child? The way you'd stare at an anthill for an hour or ask endless questions about why the sky is blue. Somewhere along the way, life's responsibilities often push that natural curiosity to the side. But here's the wonderful thing about being over 70, you have the time and the freedom to be a student again, but this time, there are no exams, no grades, and no pressure. Learning for the sheer joy of it is one of the most potent sources of happiness there is. This second way to build independent happiness is to feed your mind with something new. It doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. It's simply about engaging your brain with fresh ideas and perspectives. Think of it as mental stretching. Have you ever wondered about the history of your town? Go to the local library. Librarians are absolute goldmines of information, and ask for a book on local history. You might discover that the park you walk past every day was once something completely different. You become a detective in your own life, uncovering the stories hidden in plain sight. Or maybe you've always loved listening to classical music but never knew the stories behind the composers. Now you can. With the internet, and if you're not too comfortable with it, maybe a helpful grandchild or a class at the community center can show you. You can listen to a lecture on Beethoven one day and a documentary on the building of the great cathedrals the next. It's like having the world's most fascinating university right at your fingertips. This pursuit of knowledge does something magical. It shifts your focus from the internal worries, the aches and pains, the concerns about the future, to the vast, incredible world outside. It gives you something to think about, to ponder, to discuss. You become a more interesting person, first and foremost to yourself. You're no longer waiting for someone to entertain you, you are entertaining your own mind. And that, my friend, is a happiness that no one can take away. It builds a quiet confidence. You realize you are a person of depth and curiosity, with a world of discovery still ahead of you. So, as you move through your day today, think about these two ideas. How can you make your first hour a sacred ritual for yourself? And what's one tiny thing you've always been curious about that you could learn more about this week? We're just getting started on this journey. Coming up, we're going to talk about 2 more powerful ways to build your happiness from the inside out, including how to find purpose in your daily life and the surprising joy of creating something with your own 2 hands. You won't want to miss it. So we've begun this journey together, and I hope you've had a chance to think about reclaiming your mornings and rediscovering the joy of learning. It's amazing how these small shifts can start to change the entire landscape of our day, isn't it? We're building a foundation, brick by brick, that's strong and sturdy and built by us, for us. And that foundation is exactly what allows us to welcome others in from a place of wholeness, not neediness. Now, let's take that foundation and build on it. Because happiness isn't just about peaceful moments and mental stimulation. It's also about feeling useful, feeling connected to the world in a tangible way. And that brings us beautifully to our 3rd way. 3. Find your purpose in the small, daily acts. We often think of purpose as something grand, a career, a life's mission, raising a family. And when those large-scale purposes shift or fade, it can feel like the ground has fallen out from under us. We might ask, what's my purpose now? But here's a perspective shift that can change everything. Purpose isn't a destination you arrive at, it's something you find in the small, daily acts of care and attention. Think about it. When you water a plant on your windowsill and watch it unfurl a new leaf, that's purpose. You nurtured something, and it responded. When you take the time to prepare a simple, nourishing meal for yourself, chopping the vegetables with care and savoring each bite, that's purpose. You are honoring your own body and well-being. When you sweep the front porch, not because anyone is coming over, but because you like the way it looks neat and tidy, that's purpose. You are curating your own little corner of the world. This is about shifting from a mindset of I have to do this to I get to do this. It's about infusing the mundane with meaning. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine, a wonderful woman named Eleanor in her late 70s, told me she was feeling useless after her husband passed. She stopped cooking for herself, just nibbling on toast and tea. One day, she decided to make a proper pot of soup from a recipe her own mother used to make. She went to the market, picked out the freshest vegetables, and spent the afternoon letting it simmer, filling her home with that wonderful, comforting aroma. She told me, for the first time in months, I felt like myself. I wasn't just existing. I was doing something. That act of making soup wasn't just about food. It was a connection to her mother, a gift of care to herself, and a small but profound victory over feeling purposeless. That's what I'm talking about. So, look for those tiny purposes in your day. Is there a drawer you've been meaning to organize? A recipe you used to love that you could try again? A bird feeder you could hang outside the kitchen window and keep filled? These aren't chores, they are anchors. They tether you to the present moment and give you a reason to engage with the world. And the beauty is, you don't need anyone's permission or participation to do them. They are yours, and they matter because you matter. 4. Move your body, but with kindness, not punishment. Now, let's talk about something we often have a complicated relationship with, physical activity. For so many years, we might have exercised to lose weight, to look a certain way, or because the doctor told us to. It could feel like a chore, or even a punishment. But after 70, we have an incredible opportunity to reframe this entirely. This fourth way to build happiness is to move your body as an act of love and gratitude. Think of it this way: your body has carried you through every single day of your life. It has held you up through joys and sorrows, through long walks and quiet nights. Now, it's time to thank it. Movement, at this stage, isn't about pushing for a new personal best or fitting into a smaller dress. It's about saying thank you by keeping the joints fluid, the muscles strong, and the heart healthy. It's about maintaining your independence so you can continue to do the things you love. And this can be so gentle and enjoyable. It's not about grueling workouts. It's about finding what feels good. For one person, it might be a slow, mindful walk in the park, noticing the way the light filters through the trees and the sound of the leaves crunching underfoot. It's a moving meditation. For another, it might be a chair yoga class where the focus is on stretching and breathing, not on contorting into difficult poses. There are wonderful videos online made specifically for seniors that focus on gentle movement, balance, and flexibility. I know a gentleman named George who, at 82, started taking a daily stroll around his block after dinner. He didn't call it a walk because that sounded too much like exercise. He called it his evening survey. He'd look at the neighbors' gardens, notice who had put up new curtains, and wave to the kids playing. That 15-minute survey became the highlight of his day. It got him moving, connected him to his neighborhood, and cleared his head before bed. When you move your body with kindness, you release endorphins, those wonderful little chemicals that are nature's own happiness boosters. You sleep better. You feel more capable and confident. You prove to yourself, with every gentle step or stretch, that you are alive and strong. It's a powerful message to send yourself, and it's another pillar of happiness that stands firmly on its own, independent of anyone else. So, as we move toward the final part of our time together, I want you to sit with these ideas. How can you turn a daily chore into an act of purpose? And what's one gentle, joyful way you can thank your body for its years of service today? These aren't big, dramatic changes. They're gentle shifts in perspective. Up next, we're going to explore the final 2 ways to build this unshakable inner happiness. We'll talk about the art of being your own best company and the profound peace that comes from giving back, not out of obligation, but from a place of pure joy. I can't wait to share them with you. Welcome back. It feels good to be here with you again. We've been on quite a journey together, haven't we? We've talked about claiming the quiet peace of our mornings, feeding our minds with curiosity, finding purpose in the smallest daily tasks, and moving our bodies with gratitude and kindness. Each of these steps is like adding a new, vibrant color to the palette you use to paint your days. And now, we have 2 more colors to add, 2 more ways to build a happiness that is so deeply rooted within you that it can weather any storm. Let's dive into the 5th way, and this one might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but I promise you, it's also one of the most liberating. 5. Master the art of your own company. We live in a world that often glorifies being busy and surrounded by people. From the time we're young, we're taught that being alone is something to be fixed, a problem to be solved. But what if I told you that learning to be truly, joyfully alone is one of the greatest gifts you can ever give yourself? This isn't about loneliness. Loneliness is a feeling of emptiness, a longing for connection that isn't there. Being alone, on the other hand, is a state of being. And when you learn to fill that state with your own rich inner world, it transforms into solitude, a peaceful, restorative, and deeply creative space. This 5th way is about becoming the best company you've ever had. Think about it. You've spent your whole life with yourself. You know your own history, your own dreams, your own sense of humor better than anyone else ever could. Now is the time to enjoy that person. Start small. Instead of turning on the television the moment you sit down, try just sitting with your own thoughts for a while. Maybe you sit on a park bench and simply watch the world go by, noticing the details, the way a child skips, the different shades of green in the trees, the clouds drifting overhead. You become an observer of life, and it's fascinating. Or, take yourself on a date. Yes, you heard me right. A date with yourself. Go to that little cafe you used to pass by and get a cup of tea and a scone. Bring a book, or just bring a notebook. Sit there and enjoy the hum of conversation around you without feeling the need to join in. You are in the world, but you are also perfectly content within yourself. You might feel self-conscious at first, but push through that feeling. There's a quiet power in sitting alone in a public place, perfectly at ease. I recall a story about a woman named Margaret, a widow in her mid-80s. She told me her greatest joy was every Friday afternoon. She'd pack a small thermos of soup and a chunk of bread, drive to a scenic overlook just outside of town, and have a picnic with herself in her car while watching the sunset. She said, "Sometimes I think about my late husband. Sometimes I just watch the colors change. But I never feel lonely. I feel full. Full of the beauty of it all." She had mastered the art of her own company. She had turned a potentially lonely moment into a sacred, cherished ritual. When you become your own best company, your relationships with others change too. You no longer approach them from a place of neediness. "I need you to entertain me, to make me feel better, to fill my void." Instead, you approach them from a place of fullness. "I am already whole, and I am choosing to share my time and joy with you." It's a complete shift in the dynamic, and it makes every interaction richer and more genuine. 6. Embrace the joy of giving, without expectation. And that leads us perfectly to our sixth and final way. We've spent this whole video talking about building happiness from the inside out, about not relying on others. And now, I'm going to talk about giving. It might sound like a contradiction, but stick with me, because it's the most beautiful paradox of all. This isn't about giving because you feel obligated, or because you want something in return. It's not about volunteering to fill an empty schedule or helping someone so they'll be grateful to you. That kind of giving is transactional and can actually leave you feeling drained if your efforts aren't acknowledged. This sixth way is about giving from a place of overflow. It's about tapping into the unique gifts, wisdom, and kindness you've accumulated over a lifetime and sharing them simply for the pure joy of sharing. It's giving without any attachment to the outcome. What are you naturally good at? What do you love? Maybe you're a whiz in the garden. Could you grow a few extra tomato plants and leave a basket of fresh tomatoes on a neighbor's doorstep just to see them smile? Maybe you're a knitter. Could you knit a few small hats for a local hospital's newborn unit, imagining the warmth they'll bring to a tiny head? Maybe you're a listener. Could you simply sit with a friend who's going through a hard time, not to offer advice, but just to be present? This kind of giving is its own reward. The act itself, the knitting, the gardening, the listening, brings you joy. The hope of a smile on someone else's face is a bonus, but it's not the fuel. The fuel is the expression of who you are. I think of a man named Arthur, a retired carpenter who lived on my street. He didn't have many visitors, but he was one of the happiest people I knew. He spent his mornings in his workshop, not building anything for money, but fixing things. A child's wobbly chair, a neighbor's broken table leg. He never charged a dime. He'd just leave the repaired item on the doorstep with a little note, "All fixed up. Hope this helps. Arthur." When I asked him why he did it, he just shrugged and said, "It's what I do. Makes me feel useful. And I like the quiet of the workshop, the smell of the wood. The fixing is for me. Leaving it on the doorstep, that's just the icing on the cake." Arthur had found the secret. The giving was an extension of his own joy, not the source of it. So you see, my friend, this journey we've been on circles back to where we started. A happiness that doesn't rely on others isn't a lonely, isolated happiness. It's the most connected kind there is. Because when you are full of your own peace, your own curiosity, your own purpose, your own physical vitality, your own delightful company, and your own generous spirit, you have so much more to share with the world. And the world needs what you have to offer. It needs your calm, your stories, your gentle hands, and your wise heart. So, as we come to the end of our time together, I want you to take a deep breath. Look around your home. Look at your own two hands. Look in the mirror at the beautiful, experienced person looking back at you. That person holds the key to their own happiness. It was always there, waiting for you to discover it. Start today. Maybe it's just 5 minutes of quiet with your tea tomorrow morning. Maybe it's looking up one fact about something you love. Maybe it's fixing a small thing or making a simple meal with care. Take one small step. That's all it takes. I would love to hear from you. What is one thing you do that brings you joy, all on your own? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. You might just inspire someone else on their own journey. And if this video has meant something to you, if it sparked a little glimmer of hope or a new idea, please give it a like. It helps others just like you find it, too. And if you'd like to continue this journey together, if you'd like more conversations like this about living a full, vibrant life at any age, then click that subscribe button and ring the bell. I'll be here, waiting to talk with you again. Until next time, remember, your happiness is a garden that only you can tend. Water it with kindness, bask in its sunshine, and watch it bloom. Here's to you, and here's to living your best life, starting right now. Take care.